Hi, economics students. It's T-Rex Economics with T-Rex and me. I'm wearing a tie. Here's some tips or strategies for sitting the economics multiple choice question exams. So first one, draw the graphs. Drawing the graph helps me find the correct answer. And you may write all over your exam question booklet. So do it. Here's the instruction page. You can see any rough working should be done on this question paper. So you can write all over the question paper. They always say, do not write on any barcodes. Here's the barcode. Does anyone ever write on the barcode? No one writes on the barcodes. For example, drawing the graphs. I hate these cobweb graphs, so I just redraw it. This is all I need, right? Equilibrium is here at X, and something happens. And Cambridge does not label their graphs, so I need to label it. This is demand and supply for cars. Okay, and what happens, and usually two things will happen when they give you so many lines. So, there's a subsidy given to Indian car manufacturers. That will shift supply to the right. And there's also an increase in the price of train and bus journeys in India, which will probably increase demand for cars. So we end up here, which is here. There's the answer. And I don't try to look at A, B, C, D and guess. I just find the answer and then find it on their graph. Oh, I need to erase this. I try to read all the answers. If you can read quickly, just read all the answer and choose the best answer because, sometimes they have two answers which are close, but you should choose the best one. And you have 45 minutes. So, 45 minutes for IGCSE. You have 1 hour for AS and 1 hour and 15 minutes for the A2. So use this time. But the easy questions are easy. So read and reread them and answer them and forget them. Spend your time on the other questions. Also, be confident. Act like a boss. It's more fun. Go to the exam acting confident and tell yourself you're confident and you're going to do very well. It's more fun and you will probably score higher. That's psychology. And other students will see you and be afraid. Think, why is he so happy? He or she, right? Next, read the question again. Just ensure you are answering the question they ask, especially opposite questions. Sometimes I get lost in the answers, so I actually forget the question. So read the question again. For example, these opposite questions, I draw the arrows on their graphs. It helps me. Diagram, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, aggregate demand increased from AD1 to AD2. They say, what could not be a cause of the shift? But my mind looks for causes of the shift. So let's see, a decrease in income tax could cause this shift. So I like that, but we're looking for what could not be. A decrease in the price of goods, which is actually, a decrease in the price of goods is actually a shift of the supply curve. So this could not be a cause of a shift of aggregate demand. So B is the answer. And always read all the answers. An increase in money wage rates, that would shift the demand curve, aggregate demand curve to the right. And an increase in the money supply would also shift the aggregate demand curve to the right. So B is the answer because it could not be a cause of this shift. Be careful with those opposite questions. And at least eliminate the obviously wrong answers. For example, what causes the demand for an inferior good to shift to the right? Read carefully, right? An inferior good is not a normal good. It's something you buy more of when you have less money. So what causes the demand for an inferior good? A decrease in consumer incomes causes demand to shift to the right. Probably A is the answer. But I'm going to look at B, C, and D. Just to be sure, a decrease in income tax would increase people's disposable incomes, and they would probably increase consumption of normal goods, but this is inferior. So that would not cause demand for inferior goods to shift to the right. Demand would shift to the left. So cannot be B. And look at this distractor, a decrease in the price of a substitute good. Substitutes and complements, these concepts are not really relevant for inferior goods. So not C. D, a decrease in the price of the good. Remember, that's shifting the supply curve. And it's an inferior good, so I'm not sure. But look, A is the best answer. Just be careful, right? And remember, Cambridge will try to trick you. Cambridge and AP and Edexcel, everyone, because they're evil. They're all demons. Okay, I'm joking. I'm joking. They're not evil. They are not demons. They're trying to create a difficult exam, so they use distractors and other sinister tools to make the questions more difficult. So think, it's a fight, right? An exam is a fight for you to get all 30 marks, or 60 on AP. And economics is very dry, so economics is very boring, so take a break. You have many exams and too much pressure, so here's a cute giraffe. And here's cute giraffes running. And here's more cute baby giraffes. Okay, remember, when you're taking any exam, giraffes love you. No, allegedly. For economics, remember price elasticity of demand or price elasticity of supply? If they give you the numbers always calculated, it's easy. And you should know this. You know this, right? And price elasticity of supply, you just change that to quantity supply. If you have time, do 1 or 2 or 3 years of multiple choice question exams before the exam. And do one if you're a genius, or whatever. Maybe do none. No, I'm not a genius. It's sad. Opposite answers, look for these opposite answers. One is always correct, usually. So here, the improve. This is a little bit difficult question. This is an AS level question. These are all AS questions. To improve its financial position, a government decided to blah, blah, blah. Well, an original budget deficit was reduced and an original budget surplus was reduced. Those are opposite answers. If one is true, the other one cannot be true. Let's see. This government reduced its expenditure on investment in the public sector, and there was not a fall in economic growth. Ooh, that's probably important. This says C, consumer expenditure decreased, so that shifts aggregate demand. Never mind C. D says public sector productivity decreased. That's about aggregate supply, right? But this shifts aggregate supply to the left, or decreases aggregate supply. But the question says there was not a fall in economic growth. So that only leaves A or B. So which is it? Let's see. An original budget deficit was reduced. I think A is the answer, because if you have a budget deficit, the government is borrowing money to spend. And if you borrow less money, then there is more loanable funds for private businesses to borrow. And then you would continue your economic growth. An original budget surplus was reduced. No. Hey, if you want answers to the multiple choice questions, you can watch my other videos. So, which tip is the best? What's your best strategy to ace the MCQ exams? Let me know. Hey, you can subscribe. You can like this video. And if you don't like the video, you can push dislike 2 times, just to be sure.